Hello, my name is Edwin Falwell, and I'm here today to show you a couple of crafts. Today we're going to be making two different things, a paper toy kaleidoscope and a tessellated drawing. Included in your take and make kit are most of the supplies you'll need to make these crafts. For the kaleidoscope craft, these include a foldable kaleidoscope body, a card with some supports for you to cut out, a coffee stirrer, a toothpick, a transparent circle, and a couple of tissue paper circles. For the tessellation craft, you should have a couple of squares of cardstock and an instruction sheet. To make these crafts, you also need a couple of things from home. Some tape, a pair of scissors, something sharp to make a hole with, in this case I'm using a thumbtack, and some markers or other drawing supplies. So, let's start with the kaleidoscope. In its simplest form, the kaleidoscope consists of 3 mirrors arranged in a triangle. The mirrors in our kaleidoscope are made from reflective Mylar tape, which is used in some different industrial and decorative contexts. It's the same kind of material that's used to make pouches in food service. Your kaleidoscope body has 3 lines scored in the back. Fold it into a triangular prism along these lines. Then take the remaining little flap and tape it down to the outside of the kaleidoscope. Okay, let's set that aside. Next, we're going to cut out the 2 supports and the triangular end cap from our card. We're going to cut along the solid lines, and we're going to fold along the dotted lines. So after you cut those out, take your sharp implement, the thumbtack, and poke it through the center of the eyepiece hole in the end cap. I'm going to use a pair of scissors to kind of widen out this hole until it fills up that whole area on the card. You want to try to make a nice round circle for it. Okay, so after we've got a circle cut into our end cap, we're going to fold along the dotted lines and fold the little flaps down. And then we're going to take this end cap and we're going to tape it to one end of our kaleidoscope. Okay, so let's make the supports now. We're going to fold the supports in half along the dotted lines. And then taking one of these, we're going to insert our coffee stirrer into one end of this flap and then use a small piece of tape to secure it so that it can't move. You're going to want to leave a little bit at the end without tape, probably about 1/3 of an inch, so that we can splay out the ends of our supports. Do the same for the other about halfway down the coffee stirrer. After you've secured both supports to the coffee stirrer, splay out the ends of your supports. And then secure them with tape to the body of the kaleidoscope. The coffee stirrer is going to be a little bit longer than the body of the kaleidoscope. Just try to center it roughly. So next we're going to make the wheel of our kaleidoscope. You should poke a hole with the sharp tool as close to the center of the clear circle as possible. Then take your toothpick and insert it into the hole, about 1/2 inch or so. Let's attach the toothpick to the disc with a bit of tape. So next we're going to want to make the toothpick a little wider so that it fits snugly inside of the coffee stirrer. We're going to wrap maybe about a turn and a half of tape around the outside of the toothpick, just so that it fits snugly inside of that coffee stirrer. We want it to be a snug fit, but not wedged too tightly that it can't turn. Insert the toothpick into the coffee stirrer on the open end of the kaleidoscope. And check to make sure that it turns. Okay, so now onto the fun part. So, we're going to take one of our tissue paper circles, and we're going to place it on a surface that you don't mind getting ink on, because everything's going to bleed through this tissue paper. I decided to use the envelope that the Take and Make kit came in. The part where we get to get creative. We're going to draw on the circle with our markers. Have fun. Experiment. you should have a couple of circles in your kit, and you can always make more. So, after we're done, we're going to take our circle and stab it on to the toothpick. Now, you should be able to take a look through your kaleidoscope. So you should see a slice of your design repeated into a pattern. As you turn the disc, the pattern changes and shifts. Try making other types of drawings. How does this interact with the patterns being made? What kind of shapes are the reflections? The patterns of triangles are a tileable shape. The other craft we're going to be making today is a tessellation, a type of irregular shape which we'll tile. You should have an instruction sheet included with your kit, but what we're going to do is we're going to cut out shapes from one side of our cardstock square and translate them without flipping or rotating them to the opposite side of the square and tape them flush with that edge. You can do this on 2 different perpendicular sides. Here I'm just cleaning up some of the tape that's overlapping. Okay, so after you've created your irregular tileable shape, you're going to want to trace around the outside edge of it and then move it to tile the shape. By creating a grid of these tiles, we can build up a pattern. These patterns have been famously used by artists in the past. One of the most notable is MC Escher. There you go. Now you've got a grid of regular shapes that fit together and interlock together perfectly. A tessellation. Thanks for watching.